Hello again, everyone. So, continuing with Miami week, I'm going to talk about the Heat today. Seeing as LeBron is having a finals of his career, he's playing fantastic for the Cavs right now. Seeing as he won a couple championships with the Heat, I figured I might as well talk about the Heat today since it's Miami week. Finishing off Miami week tomorrow, I'll talk about the Dolphins of the NFL. But today, it's all about the Heat. So let's start with the Heat, and I'm going to start with Dwayne Wade. Some people might agree with me, some people might disagree. If I offend some Miami Heat fans, I apologize in advance. These are just my thoughts, so feel free to agree, disagree, comment on them. I appreciate all the support, and even if you disagree, I like the banter. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I expect people to disagree, and I'm thinking I'm going to get that from some Heat fans, probably a lot of Heat fans, with these thoughts that I have on D Wade. Obviously, he only played in 62 games this past year, started all of those, but he missed 20 games, so that's going to affect his numbers a little bit. He did average 21.5 points per game, which is solid, 3.5 boards with 4.8 assists. Those are solid numbers for a starting guard who has all-star talent, who's won championships. But my thoughts on D Wade is he can't be the star of the Heat. When there was success in Miami, he had Shaq, then he had LeBron. I think he can be a very, very good 1B. I just don't think he can be the 1A, the star of a team. I think he needs somebody else who can also contribute 20 plus points per game, and is going to get them to the championship. Those are just my thoughts on D Wade. I think he's a great player. I just don't think he is the guy for Miami. I think Miami needs him. I think they'd be crazy to let him go. I think he's been able to attract talent there. I think he deserves a very respectable contract for that. Without him, I don't know if LeBron would have taken his talents to Miami, as he liked to put it. I don't know if Chris Ross would have joined them and made that big three if Dwayne Wade wasn't for that. I think it's important that the Heat have him and that he is their guy. Like I said, I don't think he can be the guy, but I think he can be their guy. I know it's a little contradicting myself right there, but I think people might get what I mean by that. That Wade is a great talent, but he just can't be the guy. He's going to be the guy that brings other talent to Miami. He's going to be the guy that you rely on in big games. He has that playoff experience. He can will a team, and he's important to have on there. I just don't think he can be the guy. I think him and Dragic or Mario Chalmers are an amazing backcourt. I think you have three guards there that are going to be fantastic. Bringing Dragic in, played 26 games with the Heat, started all of those, came from Phoenix. With the Heat, he was averaging 16.5 points a game with over 5 assists and 3.5 boards. That's solid. Chalmers, like I said, Chalmers played in 80 games this past season, started 37 of those. He chipped in with 10 points a game and almost 4 assists. So I think Chalmers is a good bench option. If you keep Dragic, you have Wade and Dragic as your starting guards. I think that's a fantastic guard combination. I think those two can easily go out and get you 40 plus points a night on any given night. I think they're good assist guys. I think combined they can easily get 12 plus assists a game. I think that'd be a great guard combination for Miami, is having Wade and Dragic and Mario Chalmers coming off the bench. I think that'd be great guard combinations there. Obviously, Chris Bosh. I love the guy. Used to play for the Raptors. You know, some teams get upset when a talent goes to a different team and wins a championship. But Chris Bosh stayed with the Raptors for as long as he could. They were going in a different direction. I think he deserved the opportunity that he had to go and get that championship. You know, he had an opportunity to play with James. He tried to see it through with the Raptors, but I think they weren't heading in the direction that he saw them winning a championship in the near future. And he didn't want to stick through another whole rebuild kind of thing. Obviously, the injuries that he's been having, it's tough for me, because it's not like it's an ankle or a knee or a shoulder or something. It's, you know, heart related, and that's tough to see from a guy who's put so much into the game, and he's just a good character guy. He's done great things for Miami. In the 44 games he played with them this past year, he started all those. He averaged over 20 points a game and 7 boards a game. So he's a great guy to have at that center position. I hope he can bounce back from that injury, and we'll see him playing for the Heat next season with a full season. I think he's a good guy to have down low for them. Looking at their forward position, I think that's kind of where they are lacking. Anderson started 20 games, played in 60, 5 points, 5 boards. Luol Deng is a solid forward for them, I think. Played in 72 games, started all of those, averaged 14 points a game with 5 boards. Beasley only played in 24 games, but he averaged 8.8 points with 3.7 boards and 1.3 assists in those. So I think that's solid as well. You got a lot of rookies. The other Dragic, obviously you got Goran, and then I forget his brother's name. I know it starts with a Z, but I'm forgetting. I apologize. You only played 6 games with Phoenix before he came to Miami, and then he only played in 10 games with Miami, so you really can't evaluate too much on his stats. Ennis played in 62 games for the Heat this past year, started 3 of those, 5 points per game with 2.8 boards. Again, a rookie. Couple of rookie guards they have in Johnson and Napier. Napier played in more games, 51, started 10. Johnson played in 32 and started a couple of those. They both averaged about 5-6 points a game, a couple boards, a couple assists kind of thing. Haslam played in 62 games, started 25 of those, 4.2 points, 4.2 boards. I think he's a solid bench player for them as well. Whiteside, who was the center that kind of took over once Bosch was hurt, obviously. Played in 48 games, started 32 of those, and he averaged a double-double, 11.8 points with 10 boards. So I think your center position is solid if Chris Bosh comes back healthy. I think you have Bosh and Whiteside are a solid 1-2 combination there with your center position. You got Wade and Dragic as your starting guards with Chalmers coming off the bench. And then I think it's just your forward positions that you need to step up a little bit. I think Deng's solid. I think Haslam's a solid bench option kind of thing. But when you look at this whole roster, outside of Mario Chalmers, who played in 80 games, a lot of these guys only played 60, 62 games. Wade Haslam only played 62, Deng only played 72, Anderson only played 60. So a lot of these guys didn't get a full season in, and I think that's part of the reason why they also had a finish with a 37-48 record, which was good for 10th in the East. So they're gonna have to take advantage of playing in the East. Finishing a season 8 games below 500 and still just, missing the playoffs by maybe 5-6 games kind of thing. You got to take advantage of that playing in the East. They do need to pick up some pieces. Playing in their division, obviously the Hawks were the number 1 seed. The Wizards, I think, surprised everybody, sweeping the Raptors in the first round, kind of thing. So I think they're a team to be reckoned with, depending on what happens with Paul Pierce and everything there. I think the Wizards have an amazing guard combination there as well with Beal and Wall. The Hawks got a lot of good talent there, depending on who stays and who goes. I think the Magic are a up and coming team. For sure, with Vucevic and Oladipo and all the young players that they got there. I think they have the potential and the talent to even win this division next year down in Orlando. But I think the Heat do as well. I think it's kind of really anybody's division. The Hornets as well could surprise people and win this division. I think the Hawks, were number 1 in the East, and then they showed when they got to the playoffs that they got, yes, the conference finals, but the Cavs are just way too much for them to handle because they don't have a star. I don't think in Atlanta. They got a lot of great players that can go out and average 16, 18 points a game kind of thing, but they don't have that one guy that's going to go out and get you 25 plus kind of idea. But maybe that's what you can do to get to a championship, get to your conference finals, is have a lot of solid guys that go out and get you 16, 18 points a game, a couple guys that are going to get double-digit boards, and you can get to the conference finals. But then Cleveland's going to show you get a guy like James on your team and Kyrie Irving, now that he's hurt, obviously. But they're still playing great. Just with James and other guys are stepping up. So I think that's what the Heat need. I think Dwayne Wade is a great 1B. I don't want people to go back to the beginning of this and think that I think Wade's a horrible player. They should get rid of him. Complete opposite of that. I think he's a great player. They need to keep him. I think he's a good draw. I think people like playing with Dwayne Wade. He can be a 20-plus point per night guy. So you don't want to give up on something like that. I think him and Dragic are going to make a great guard combination if Dragic sticks around. Chalmers coming off the bench. Haslam coming off the bench. Chris Bosh comes back healthy with Whiteside coming off the bench. I think this team can go places. It's just a matter of who stays, who they bring in, who they draft. They do have the 10th overall pick. They might be able to find something with that. I'm thinking with that pick they're drafting a forward. I think they're finding the guard position. I think they got to find a forward, maybe forward center kind of guy who can be a good rebounding guy and can play some post game and get in the paint with that pick. But I think they're a solid team. I do think that being 8 games below 500 doesn't really evaluate or showcase how good this team is. A lot of these guys missed a quarter of the season. So if you have Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, and you have Dragic with the team for a full season, I definitely see this team winning over 41 games and having a plus 500 season next year. So those are my thoughts on the Heat. Hopefully some of you agree, some of you disagree. Appreciate all the support. You can follow me on Twitter at GHAM614. I'll be finishing off Miami week tomorrow with my look at the Dolphins of the NFL. Thanks again. Bye-bye.